All right, we're starting with the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, right here. 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗲𝗀𝗀, myself, I got them finishing second in the division at 9-8. You can see all of us have them finishing either second or third, which is really interesting. No one had the Bills finishing as the top team in that division, automatically earning a playoff spot. Don is the highest on the Bills with 10-7, while Dante and Hayden have the Bills going 7-10. I'll jump into my stuff for the Bills right here. So 9-8, their weapons. I mean, you look at who they have surrounding Josh Allen on offense, and it's not what Allen's used to these last few years. Drafted 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀, which is going to be a big boost to him, but maybe not compared to having Stefon Diggs in town, right? This is going to be Josh Allen's first year in many years, I think since 2019, without Stefon Diggs. How is he going to respond, right? Because before Stefon Diggs came into town, Josh Allen was a fringe bust, right? And then once he got a bona fide star at wide receiver, Josh Allen blossomed into an MVP candidate and being regarded as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Can 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀, the Florida State product, replace that production that Stefon Diggs had? Even if it's still like 900 or 1,000 yards in his rookie year, I think that'd be pretty impressive. But I don't know if that's going to be the case, considering his other weapons. The other starting wide receivers are Curtis Samuel and Khalil Shakir. It's going to be easier to hone in on 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀, even with a guy like Dalton Kincaid out there at tight end and James Cook in the backfield. This offensive line it's all right, which kind of worries me too for the running game still. I don't know, man. Like Buffalo seems like they'll be a solid team, but I struggle with the secondary. They lost so many pieces. They lost Tre'Davious White. They lost their safety tandem in Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. And they replaced him with Rasul Douglas, who they traded for midseason. He had 4 interceptions in 9 games with Buffalo, so he was productive, right? I think that he could be a solid addition. And then they add Taylor Rapp and Cole Bishop, Rapp from the Rams and Bishop in the draft. I don't know if they're going to be able to maintain that quality that Buffalo had for so long in the secondary. They were able to rely on White, Hyde, and Poyer for the entirety, really, of Josh Allen's career, and now suddenly they're gone. Matt Milano is hurt with a long-term injury. That is a massive loss for them.
Dante just shed a thug tear backstage. I'm just right now.
It's a massive loss. And not to mention, right, they lose their center, Mitch Morse, who is really solid for them, and Tyrell Dodson and Leonard Floyd on the defensive side of the ball. So I like some of the additions they made, right? But I think that they lost more than they gained. And I'm really just interested, to see how does Josh Allen fare without his star receiver, right? He's fixed his mechanics since his first 2 years in the pros. There's no doubt about that. But the last time he didn't have Stefon Diggs, the passing game was bottom 10 in the league, and they were top 10 in rushing. The problem now is I don't know if they would be able to replicate that rushing rank. And they also finished 10-6 that year due to an elite defense, which in my opinion, they no longer have, right? The defense isn't quite there. It's going to come down to, is Josh Allen really still legit, or was he really just relying on Stefon Diggs? And is 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀 that guy? Because if he can be that guy, that Stefon Diggs type player for Josh Allen, this team can probably finish around 10 wins again. If he's not quite there yet, and if Josh Allen really did rely on having a number 1 wide receiver that much, I see the Bills struggling to catch up, or to keep pace with the Dolphins this year. Spoiler alert.
I listen, I agree with everything you're saying, but I think the rushing game will be fine with James Cook and Josh Allen. It's the very much unknown with the receivers because you lost Stefon Diggs. You don't have your anchor there. You don't have the guy who even brought the swagger and the leadership in the locker room that he had there like you used to. We don't know what version of Josh Allen we're going to get this year as well. Like he has to refigure out how he's going to get the ball up and down the field. A sneaky guy who could possibly break out again this year is going to be Chase Claypool. I know that sounds wild to say, but
the top 3 wide receiver.
yeah. But listen, you know what he's done the last 3 years. He hasn't had much production. I think maybe like 50 yards the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, it's not been pretty.
He has an opportunity to show up and show out, just like Keon Coleman does, just like Khalil Shakir. So all of those guys can show out. They can do something drastically. Like they could be there, but there's some very big powerhouses on the top 2 of this division. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think Khalid brought up a really good point with when Josh Allen didn't have Stephon Diggs. It was bottom 10 passing offense, and they had that elite defense. You don't have that because, again, like Khalid mentioned, you've lost both of your safeties in free agency. So right now, your starting safeties are Taylor Rapp and Damar Hamlin. I'm just going to go through the free safety room alone. Damar Hamlin right now is injured. Cole Bishop right now is injured. Mike Edwards right now is injured, leaving Terrell Burgess. We look at what's Von Miller going to look like, especially after coming off of injury and that major contract that he had, because that's where a lot of money was also chewed up. The offensive line, there's been some changes to it, as Khalid mentioned. Pretty much they still got their anchor left tackle in Deion Dawkins. They almost lost him, which would have been a huge blow, but none of these are as bad as a blow as losing Stephon Diggs, who was Josh Allen's number 1 wide receiver, was the most reliable target, and was, despite what people want to say, was the reason why Buffalo is winning games. Because as good as Josh Allen is, he can just as easily lose you the game with an interception or a fumble, because he is also the main running game. Yes, it will take 2 people to bring down Josh Allen. He is a talented and gifted runner and just a big dude in general, so it's hard to bring him down. But it's not impossible, as we've seen so many times again, as how he's led the league in interceptions before, how he's always top 5 in turnovers before, or not before, but like always top 5s in turnovers every year. He is a high risk, high reward type of quarterback, because he could just as easily lose you a game as he can win you a game. Keon Coleman, you're asking a lot for your rookie quarterback right now. Or not rookie quarterback, sorry. Rookie wide receiver. We've seen, some problems. I know he had that one drop in the end zone the last preseason game, which, that's stuff that's going to happen. He's a rookie. Let the kid live. But, Curtis Samuel right now, week to week. Khalil Shakir, he's healthy. You've got, as we mentioned, Chase Claypool, Matt Collins, which he had a somewhat okay year at Atlanta. Justin Shorter, he hasn't really done much. MVS, I think he said he's probably like retiring, something along the lines. I know he's injured right now, but
yeah, he hasn't really made an impact in camp. So
yeah, he hasn't made an impact in camp at all. I will go ahead and say for fantasy, Dalton Kincaid is going to be Josh Allen's best friend right now. So that would be a good pickup in fantasy, but it's going to have to rely on Dalton Kincaid and Keon Coleman, and you're just asking too much for your rookie right now. And again, that defense is probably going to be a bottom 10 defense this year. I hate to say it, but looking at everything that they've lost, they're probably going to end up being a bottom 10 defense, and it really just depends on if you're going to use James Cook and Ray Davis in the run game a lot more than you have been, because Josh Allen, you just can't afford to have Josh Allen be your leading rusher. You just can't afford that. Especially with Miami, who, again, like Khalid said, spoiler alert, I don't know if you can do that with Miami, but Miami always finds a way to kind of choke away this division to Buffalo. Who knows what the Jets are going to look like? They're kind of a coin flip. This might be one of the worst divisions in football. I'm going to go ahead and say right now. Yeah. RIP Matt Milano. He will be missed.
I mean, that's probably, that's definitely the biggest loss on this defense.
Farm remembers.
I remember Pepperidge Farm.
Yeah, this Buffalo team is going to look a lot different holistically, and I know that a lot of us have them with a winning record here, but if you have to bet on any record, 9-8, that ECG record, if you're going to put money on it, that's the one right there. That's, pretty much the average of all of our records for the Buffalo Bills. We have them finishing in third in the division.
And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell notification so you're always notified.
All right. Well, the 12. Oh my god. That's what I'm saying. At this point, like, bro, you just gotta just be you, bro. Just be you, bro.